So when should you hire people for your real estate wholesaling business? Because I really don't recommend that right out of the gate, even if you have a decent amount of money to work with, that you just go straight up and hire people unless you have an extremely large budget to work with and you can hire someone that can manage people and then they hire people for you. Most people don't really fit into that scenario. Most people that have the ability to hire people may have like a few $1,000s to work with. But when is the best time to hire people? Now, here's the thing. I really don't recommend that you hire people anytime soon. I recommend that you learn parts of the business and kind of create a system of your own of how the business works. Because if you have no idea what you're doing, it's going to be extremely difficult to hire someone and expect them to provide great results. Now, outsourcing is a little bit of a different scenario. Obviously, you can hire companies that are already like, let's say, a lead generation company, and they can handle and manage all of your leads. That's something else, but hiring people that you are directly training is something of a position where you need to have a little bit of experience with it at least. And I recommend that you go this route versus outsourcing, so that way you can kind of control the environment and control the outcome and the results that you're going to get out of hiring someone. So when is the perfect time? So first of all, I recommend that you should close between like 3 and 5 wholesale deals first before you even consider hiring people. So that way you understand the full process, because after like 1 or 2 deals you close, yeah, you probably understand the basics on how like the whole closing process goes, but you want to at least make sure that you can repetitively close deals and you know exactly what works for you personally. And as you're closing these deals, I really recommend that you start to create a library of tasks that need to get done, and then kind of figure out who fits into those positions. So like, let's say this is your standard operation. You find all the sellers and pull all the leads and get the leads all set up, and then you get all the leads skip traced if you're doing cold calling, and then you cold call all these leads, and then you're finding motivated sellers out of that. And then on top of that, what you're doing is you're finding all the cash buyers, you're getting the deals under contract, and you're finding the buyer for this deal, and then you're sending everything off to the title company for everything to be closed. As you can see, there's multiple parts of this model of the structure of a deal being closed. So what you need to do is find someone that kind of fits into this category of each individual part. You can't just hire someone to literally do all of this, because if they're doing all of this, then they might as well run with the business themselves, which I wouldn't say this is necessarily you should be something afraid of. But if you're getting started, you don't want someone literally doing everything and you have no understanding of how to do the whole process. You want to be in the trenches with them, at least at the beginning, being able to show them exactly what to do. So if this is the whole process of what's going on to close a deal, then you need to kind of categorize each of these tasks. Maybe you can have a virtual assistant that gets all the lists, gets all the data, and skip trace the list. So just one person that kind of manages and handles the data. And then maybe someone that's just strictly lead generation, where they're finding all of these leads. And they're the ones that are like literally cold calling all day. So hire someone as a cold caller to be able to manage the task, to be able to cold call all of these leads and be able to manage the leads as well. Or you can hire someone that's specifically a lead manager, where they're managing all the leads and what's going on, what needs to be closed, what needs to have the focus on, who needs to go on appointment where, and then maybe have someone that goes on appointments, and then have someone that manages closing the deals and everything like that. So as you can see, there's all these like different categories, and what you want to do is figure out the specific task for each one of these parts and build a system out of it. So have scripts for everything, literally everything laid out. Maybe have videos instructing on how to do some of these virtual assistant tasks. So that way you don't want any of this being any sort of skill-based work. You want everything, for the most part, other than maybe like the acquisition managers, to be able to be like an hourly wage, where it's literally they're doing everything that is down in the script. So that way, literally, there's no talent whatsoever. And the reason being for this is because if you're reliant on talent-based work and someone being able to have certain skills to be able to produce results for your business or do some of these mundane tasks for your business, if they go away, if they, let's say something happens, you have to fire them, they quit, something happens in the relationship where they're not working for you anymore, it's going to be a struggle trying to get someone else into that position. So you want to have it as much as possible to where literally everything is all systemized and automated and it's easily replicable. So that way they can literally, they're like a robot being put in place. You want them to kind of be like almost like you're working at McDonald's. I've never personally worked at McDonald's, but I hear this as a reference all the time. But basically at McDonald's, they have like literally, you don't even type in the dollar amount. You just pick the burger, what type of meal it is. You pick what number it is on what they're ordering off the menu. And then it kind of does everything for them, making it literally as simple as possible. They have like literally all over the kitchen what you got to do to make some of these different food products and everything, and you want it to basically be the exact same for your wholesaling business, so that way there is no necessarily originality. Obviously it helps to have someone with talent, but you want it as much as possible systemized, so that way it's just a machine that you're building out that is able to be able to make you money and close deals consistently, or at least bring leads to the table that you can have people go on appointments or you go on appointments. And what I would do as well is just hire one person at a time for these different tasks. As you notice, like I basically constructed a list of like 5 different people for this team. Now, obviously you can have it like split up. So maybe you can have someone that is managing the leads and getting all the leads, and then one person cold calling, and then one person going on the appointments. And then you're just making sure everything closes at the title company. And that way, like literally everything is taking place. But at the beginning, obviously, you don't have the resources to be able to just hire everyone at once, and that would be extremely chaotic. So kind of just build it up in bits and pieces, and over time, you can build this company that's able to become a cash cow and generate consistent money every single month. So on top of that, I really don't recommend you hire people until you can close deals on a consistent basis, because I want you to kind of put yourself in the shoes of these people that you're hiring. If you just get hired by someone and they're not able to like, and then you get laid off or you get fired, or you they ask you not to work for them anymore because they're not able to generate enough income anymore after working with them for like 2 months, that's going to be pretty upsetting for you, because you had high hopes to be able to close to be able to have this consistent income go on, and you changed your whole lifestyle to be able to work for this company. So you want to make sure that you're not that person that is unable to provide for these people. You got to treat them kind of like family, is kind of what I've learned, and help them out as much as possible. Also, some other piece of advice that I've kind of learned with hiring people, and some of the problems that I've ran into but been able to figure out over time, kind of these lessons that I've learned, is as much as possible, you want to keep different information on like different levels inside the company. You don't want your virtual assistants knowing how much you're making on the deals and how much you're taking home, and then them being able to compare how much they're getting paid for some of these tasks and everything. So I really recommend that you keep everything on a basis where it's kind of like only certain people know like certain types of information, just so that way there isn't like any sort of like jealousy or anything like that going on inside of the business. Because as soon as people start to know, like, let's say that you're making $20,000 a month and they're getting paid like $3,000-$4,000 a month, they're going to be feeling a little left out. Or maybe even if you're making like $50,000 a month and they're getting paid $4,000 a month, they're seeing you take home, even though like you're the one taking all the risk, you're the one putting yourself out there, you're doing all these different things, so that way you can have the ability to pay them. But people easily get a little bit jealous or discouraged, so they're like, why am I not doing this for myself? You want to be transparent, but at the same time, there is a certain point where you have to realize that you shouldn't share all of the information. And this is something that I've kind of like had to learn, especially working with like friends and family. So this is kind of like a little bit of a side note, a little bit of like an advice piece. But other than that, you just want to kind of just try to systemize everything as much as possible, so that way it's as easy and least resistant for you to kind of build this all up. Obviously, there's going to be a little bit of growing pains that you're going to go through with all this, kind of learning how to hire people, find the right people. But as long as you put in the consistency and persistence that you put in to be able to close these deals, as long as you're being persistent, consistent, trying to just hire people out to find the people for the right position that fit your kind of brand culture, sort of say, as to what you believe in and what you want your company to believe in, then you should be good to go. That's also another thing as well, is make sure that you have like a good guidelines as far as like what your company's culture is. So that way everybody understands that these are kind of like the basic morals and ethics that you guys believe in inside this company. So that way you're able to kind of build your culture around this system. And if you find people that fit these scenarios, you're going to find the best people a little bit faster for your company to be able to grow it as much as possible. So that way you don't have to work as much, but your company's working like 3 times as hard than you ever possibly could all by yourself. So anyways, that's what I got for you guys, a little bit on hiring people for your company and when you should do it. Hopefully you got some sort of golden nugget out of this video. If you did, drop it down in the comments down below how I helped you, or if you guys have any questions whatsoever. Make sure if you haven't already, join the fam, join the game by hitting the subscribe button down below. Smash that like, and like always, I'll see you guys all tomorrow. Peace.